Hi, Timothy Unkert here. In this video, we are going to factor quadratics where the number in front of x squared, which is often referred to as a, is greater than 1. Okay, we're going to start today with just positive numbers. So we just have a positive here and a positive here. All right, so what I like to teach my students to do is to start by listing the factors of the number in front of x squared. We call that a typically. So in this case, I would do 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. And then we also want to list the factors of the last number here, the constant number, which is referred to as c. Okay. So I could multiply 1 times 4 or 2 times 2. Now, what I'm aiming to do is pick one of these pairs from here and multiply one number from the pair by another number of a pair here, and then take the other number and multiply it by another number, and have those products add to 11, okay? So, for instance, in this case, if I were trying out numbers and I tried 6 times 4, that would give me 24. If I add that to 1 times 1, that gives me 25. It's way too high. If I do 6 times 1, okay, that's 6 plus 1 times 4, which is 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. It's close, but close doesn't do it. It has to be exact. So 1 and 6 and 1 and 4 would not work, but possibly 1 and 6 and 2 and 2 might. Let's try that. So if I did 6 times 2, that would give me 12. Plus 1 times 2 is another 2. That brings me up to 14. So that's too high. Now I could, because these are both 2's, I could switch, multiply it by the other 2, but it's going to be the same. So 1 and 6 is not going to work. So I'm going to have to use 2 and 3. So for instance, if I multiply 3 here by 1 here, that gives me 3. And then if I take 2 here and multiply it by this 4, that gives me 8. And 8 plus 3, that's going to give me the 11 that I want. So I want to use these pairs. Now the factors of a that we find, so the 2 and the 3, those are the coefficients in front of x in factored form, so the numbers in front of x. So I'm going to write 2x here and 3x here. Now to get this to work, I want to multiply the 3x by the 1. So I'm going to put the plus 1 here. Now if you remember back to FOIL, when you learned FOIL, that stands for the order that you multiply the terms together. So you multiply the first terms together, then the outer terms, then the inner terms, so 1 times 3x, and then you multiply the last terms, okay? But the whole point is, if I put the 1 here, it's going to multiply by the 3x. If I had plus 1 here, it would multiply by 2x over here. That would not work. I want to multiply the 2x by the 4, so I'm going to put plus 4 here. Okay, so we think we have the factored form. What I encourage my students to do is to, of course, check. So we can check via using a Punnett square or FOIL or double distribution, whatever you prefer. I kind of think the Punnett square is a neat way to check. It's just another way of organizing the multiplication of two binomials. So I'm going to have 2x here, 1 here, 3x here, and 4 here. So if I do 3x times 2x, I get 6x squared. That's a 6x squared. If I do 3x times 1, I get 3x. If I do 2x times 4, I get 8x. And if I do 4 times 1, I get 4. Okay, so let's make sure we've got everything. Let me just change up here. Okay, so we've got the 6x squared. That checks with this right here. We're going to add our like terms, so 8x plus a 3x. That's going to give me the 11x here. That checks. And then we also have the 4 here, which checks with that. So this right here is my factored form. Okay, and we are done with that one. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, in this next example, we're going to factor 4x squared plus 23x plus 15. So I'm going to start by listing the factors of 4. So 1 times 4 gives me 4, and 2 times 2 gives me 4. I'm now going to list the factors of 15. So I could do 1 times 15, or I could do 3 times 5. Now, if I'm looking at what numbers I can use, can I do 4 times 15? That's going to give me 60, which is way above 23. That's what I want to get. So if I do 4 times 1, that's 4, plus 1 times 15, that's 19. That's too low. So I can't use 1 and 4 with 1 and 15. Perhaps I can use it with 3 and 5. So if I do 4 times 5, ooh, that gives me 20. I like that. That's getting me close. And then I'm looking here, 1 times 3, that's going to give me, the 4 times 5 is the 20, plus the 1 times 3 is 3. That gives me the 23. So that's what I want to use. So again, I can write these two numbers as the coefficients in front of x. So we have a 1x, and we have a 4x. Okay, I want to multiply the 4 by the 5, so I'm going to put plus 5 here. And I want to multiply the 1x by 3, so I'm going to put plus 3 here. Okay, let's do a quick check with our Punnett square here. So we have 1x plus 5 times 4x plus 3. So 4x times 1x is 4x squared. 4x times 5 is 20x. 1x times 3 is 3x. Why did I write a squared there? I don't know. Might be a little tired. It's just 20x. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so sometimes you get in the mode and you check your work. Okay, includes even teachers. So, all right, so let's see. Do we have the 4x squared? Yep. The 20x plus the 3x, that's going to give me the 23x. So boom, got that. And we've got the 15 here. So this is going to be my factored form. Okay, so we're done with that one. Let's try one more example just to make sure we've got it. Okay, the last one, we're going to factor 3x squared plus 22x plus 7. So I'm going to list the factors of 3, so 1 and 3. Maybe you want to pause the video at this point and try it yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to list the factors of 7, so 1 and 7. And this one's kind of easy because there's only one way. If we do, 7 times 1 plus 3 times 1, that gives us 10. But if we do 7 times 3, that gives us 21, and then we add 1 times 1, well, that gives us 22. Okay, so I'm going to use these as coefficients in front of x. So we've got 1x and 3x. Okay, if I do 3x times 7, I got to put the plus 7 here. And I want to do 1x times 1, so I've got to put the plus 1 here. As always, we should check. So we've got 1x plus 7 times 3x plus 1. 3x times 1x is 3x squared. 3x times 7 is 21x. 1x times 1 is 1x. And 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, so do we have the 3x squared? Yes. is 21x plus 1x. Does that equal 22x? Yes. And do we have the 7 here? Yes. So this is my factored form. And we are good. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.